Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a casual garden stroll. It's going to be short today because we are at the Erin has an absolute panic attack moment in the garden. The list, I thought if I made a list of what I want to get done today before I went to bed last night, the brain would turn off, and it just made it so much worse because the list is truly impossible. So, sorry about this. We're shooting with the phone again today because I'm actually just making sure I got everything charged up. I'm trying to get last minute charges on the camera and the mics and stuff so I can shoot videos for the week. I'm behind on it, whatever, the usual. You don't need me to tell you I'm behind on editing because that is the status quo. Let's turn the camera around. I'm just going to hit some highlights in the garden today. A couple weeks ago I said it would be short and it was 40 minutes. That is not going to happen today, so let's get on with it. I thought I'd just start up here on the deck quick because I did plant some pots up here. Again, there's really not much to see, you guys. It's still very, very cool here. I mean, right now out here, it's probably 62 degrees right now out here. So many of the annuals just don't have color on them. And so there's purple bellvine in here, but I have not put the string trellis up yet. But you can see it's kind of like flopped on top of that plectranthus there. Perennia, guacamole, two plectranthus. So we've got that's Mona lavender, that's guacamole. I'm drinking coffee with the other hand, so I don't have my pointer finger. Coralina, super bells, which goes with our coral. It's the exact same color as our screen door. We don't even have the screen door on yet. One, because we haven't needed it yet, and two, because that's just how busy we've been. Is this called Rowea? Southern gardeners, tell me if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then Perennia. This year, I'm doing Brugmansia in here. Last year I did Datura, doing Brugmansia here. I know they're all poisonous. We keep a close eye on it. I've never grown Brugmansia before. I don't know if I'm going to like it. I really wanted to put my Melianthus in here, but that Melianthus is just way too big for this pot. So I actually need to upsize that pot, I think. This is the other one. The ficus came outside. Everyone, including the ficus, is breathing an absolute sigh of relief at that. I thought today we would talk a little bit about viburnums because it is high viburnum season here. And we'll hit on a few other things as we go by. I'll just say, first of all, see this clematis Etoile Violet just goes bonkers climbing up that railing every year. It's a good doer. So we've talked about, I've showed you these, but they're still looking good. And that's one of the things about viburnum that's really nice is they really do bloom for quite a long period of time. I have two viburnums here, and last week I didn't know the name of them, and I still don't know the name of them. The tags are under there. I have not had time to climb under and find them. But this is, I think, Shoshani. It's plicatum type, which is commonly known as double file. Shoshani or cupcake. I have both. Anyway, just beautiful. And it's been looking good now for, I would say, 2 weeks. The other one, I think if you can see, oh, there's a goldfinch over there. Can you see this? Okay, here's me pointing with my coffee cup. See, okay, look beyond the coffee cup. There's the limelight. Just beyond that, the white that you see is the other one. And maybe we'll swing around there, but sometimes I say I'm going to do something in a tour, and by the time I get back again, I forget. We are at the weeds on the grass portion of the event. I also want to talk about Geranium macrorrhizum, which is looking amazing. You will need to avert your eyes for what I'm about to show you, though, because we got something real bad happening here. So this area underneath this Norway spruce is a hard place to grow. But again, Geranium macrorrhizum comes in clutch here. This is, I think, the species. The small one in the front, I think, is Biocovo. And I forget what the Ingersoll, maybe? On the back, that lighter pink. But I love it when we've got multiple colors going on. Look at how well that's filled in. Do not look at how I put a red New Guinea Impatiens in there, because that is not a good look. My thought is later in the summer when these aren't blooming, that'll look okay. I might just pull it out. We'll see. My goal was to be done with the greenhouse by this weekend. That is not going to happen. So, not coming down this weekend. We have looked at this a couple of times, but this is green sleeves dogwood. This came from the Isley load. I, of course, love this sort of kind of slightly chartreuse bracts / flowers on it. Really pretty. All these dogwoods grow, they're very narrow at first, and as they get older, they get wider. And so I'm really looking forward to this one kind of getting wider and filling up this space. Coming around this way, I forget that I did this, but I put some Everest alliums in this. There's also some ambassadors, I believe, and some Christophia, I think, popping up in here. But it cracks me up. I have like I put 4 Mount Everest there, 1 back there, and 2 here. I don't know what I was thinking. So here's, so more about this. This is big root geranium. Geranium macrorhizum is big root geranium. And most of the plants on this property all came from, I think, actually my sister-in-law's house. But I have bought not a lot of it over the years, and I just keep moving it because it is, this plant, I swear to God, you can stick this plant anywhere, and it just does its thing. So here, it's just doing so well, playing so nicely with the tricolor beech. I was at a garden, which you'll see the tour of this, although you won't see this tree in it because I didn't see it till we were done filming at some point, but that had a tricolor beech, and just this week, and they had pruned it. They had cut the leader on it quite a bit. They had to for some reason, and then they've been pruning over the years. And I gotta tell you, it was like a big sort of, kind of like the shape of that crabapple over there. It was sort of like smaller than that though by a lot. A big lollipop shape. It was really interesting. I like the form of this one, but here's another viburnum. This is Onondago. And this is, let's see if we can get you close enough to those flowers. This is a real stunner. Obviously, it's probably, well, gosh, it's as tall as the tricolor beech. That's probably, well, certainly 12 feet tall, probably more. And there were 2 there where you see this gap, where you can see where the Orium Japanese maple is filling that in very well, or I think it's Korean maple. That's where I had another one of those. I took that one out last year. Actually, I cut it down to the ground, so it might actually resprout. But it created, we needed some air here. It was a wall. It was not good. But it's such a beautiful, beautiful viburnum. I started that from a 4-inch pot, you guys, and it has grown so nicely. Now, I said I wanted to talk about viburnums, and I'll just say that I used to grow Glitter and Glows, which is a viburnum dentatum. And I think dentatums usually have the shiny leaves. And I don't grow any of those anymore because we do have viburnum leaf beetle here, and fortunately, not all viburnums are susceptible to that. But that dentatum got just eaten alive by that, and I immediately pulled it out because I knew there was no way in heck I was ever going to deal with that kind of damage and spraying for those leaf beetles, which really it's the larvae that eat it. And I immediately pulled them out. So I do not grow dentatum anymore at all. Look, we're going to have peonies soon. I bet you guys are all going, are you kidding me? You're just getting peonies now? Every year I mention this. This peony is possibly the only plant, other than trees, on this property that still exists that was here when we moved in. There weren't a lot of like good plants here, but almost everything else has been changed. But I have never touched that peony. It grows there because that's where it was growing, and I feel like it's like a little ode to the history of this house because it was probably planted by, an owner many years before we got here. And I just feel like it was appropriate to them. And I like a peony. But so that's the only one that's left. Here's Midnight Sun Weigela flowering. It will start turning its pretty colors soonish. Here's Wine and Roses blooming, just starting to bloom back here. This is good old classic Wine and Roses. Does a great job of hiding the electrical box. So let's go over and talk about these viburnums, which are an unsung hero in this garden. This is viburnum. It's a cranberry viburnum, and this one's called Wentworth. And I planted 5 of them. I think this actually is only 3 of them. There's either only 3 or 4 left. long time ago to hide the neighbor's shed. Many, many, many years ago. The neighbor's shed is still back there. And actually, it actually doubled in size because they actually stuck 2 sheds together. But back there is the neighbor's shed, and they, you know, put a lot of junk behind it, which is what people do, and I don't care about that at all because of these viburnums. These have provided an absolutely amazing screen. I mean, they're huge now. All we do to them, literally all we do to them, is whack back the branches when they start hanging too far over the driveway. Obviously, this is deciduous, but there's a pretty good branch structure in there too that does create a little bit of screening. And the reason I planted these is because this was kind of early on when we had the house. There was not a lot of money in the kitty for fancy plants. And we were growing in shade. I mean, this is the neighbor's giant maple tree here, which has spit 40,000 billion helicopters everywhere. And there's another tree over there. I mean, that's facing south over there. This was kind of a shady-ish situation. We've got root competition, and we needed to get something going here. And I would just highly recommend considering something like this if you can live without evergreen screening. This plant has just been just an all-star in this garden. It asks for absolutely nothing. And the flowers are beautiful on it, and it gets beautiful berries on it too. And the birds absolutely love it. More Geranium macrorrhizum planted under that. Again, you know, hiding some nonsense. Here's some more over here. I mean, I literally just pop it in places where I need a problem-solving plant. And actually, I'm going to move some of it because I found another spot where I'm like, duh, why haven't I put any Geranium mac there? We have quite a bit of it running through this garden as well, as a feature, not as a problem solver necessarily. It does take up a lot of space, so I do have to kind of keep it from running over other plants. Very pretty through here, kind of a little river of it. And then over there, that was all, 2 years ago? I just cleaned out this. As a matter of fact, this was getting a little overgrown. I cleaned out these plants. You can almost like just throw the stems at the soil and just ever so slightly cover them, and it'll take. We have uncaged this tree. This is Big Apple Dogwood. It's done. It did not make it through the winter, and should be plenty hardy here. And it's really weird because if you scrape the bark is still green, but there's nothing happening there. So we will take that out, do something else. We do have, this is quite pretty. Look through the crick. The crick has got myosotis in it. We've got forget-me-nots blooming in it, which we never planted. They just landed there. There's also what I call buttercup here. You can see it closer this way. Buttercup in there, which I think is like, this is bad. Like, that's not something I want, and I should technically pull it. But it's pretty, and it's especially pretty because it's mixed in with the, sorry about the turning, guys. I'm trying really hard to be better about that. With the forget-me-nots. Some years the forget-me-nots bloom, and sometimes they don't. I think it just depends on how much water is running through the creek at that time, whether the seeds have time to take or not. The other yellow you see here is Aurea Zizia Aurea, Golden Alexanders, which has been blooming for 3 weeks now, probably. Looking great. This is Nepeta subsessilis Blue Prelude. You guys, it'll bloom like this forever. Now I can cut it back and get fresher blooms on it, and sometimes I cut some back and not others. Amazing. Siberian, right? Siberian irises dotted through here. I also have a whole, we're gonna twist again, sorry man. That whole stand of them over there, I transplanted a bunch of them over there to kind of help support the creek bank a little bit. Boy, have those gotten tall and big. Tall and big. I guess we didn't need to say that. If we look down the creek here, all the dark is Ligularia dentatum, which I think has been changed to a different name now. Desdemona. Some of those I planted. There's a ton of reseeding happening. Other than sustaining slug damage, it's pretty prone to slug damage. it is really happy along the banks of the creek there, and it helps other things from going out. Everything else in here is kind of a mess. You can see like this garden, we'll walk over here. What we're trying to do is like clean out a garden and mulch immediately. And when I say we, it's me mostly, and also Carol has been helping a bit. Because the weeds are just crazy. So a little observation this year is that, well, I have a theory on this. A lot of things that are reseeders have had a really good winter. So poppies, looking really good. Garlic mustard weed, really good. Jewelweed, really good. So the last two being weeds. Here's vanilla cream baptisia starting to bloom. I actually added 2 more in here because I really love it in here. And so my theory on that is that because we had such a cold spring, the perennials were so late to emerge and to flush out that there was very little shade competition for things that were growing from seed. And therefore, all those things really got a head start on things. This is more of that Nepeta subsessus. This was divided off of that other plant, what, last year or the year before? It's a big plant. I actually did a Tulsi chop on one of them, and so we'll see how that works out. Actually, I love it. Isn't it pretty with the alliums through there? That's really pretty, I think. I've lost some salvia in here. Like there should be more, like this was all salvia and calamintha, and all I see is the calamintha nepeta and like 3 salvias. So fortunately I have some to replace that with. What else do we want to look at here? That's most of what I wanted to show you. We can walk here. Let's just stroll this way briefly. What you see coming up here, all this big foliage, this is comfrey. Comfrey, once you plant it, you pretty much have it there. I happen to love it here. It grows fine in the shade. It's going to flower. Comfrey is a really cool plant for a lot of reasons. It happens to make really good compost too. So this is, gosh, what's it called? It's yellow wax bells. Kirigami is the, I don't know. I planted a bunch of it last year, and there's one there, and I'm really happy to see it there, and happy to see it happy, and not happy to see all the grass that's popped up in that border. So we're at sort of at where some of the gardens are looking really good, and some of them I haven't really gotten to yet, and oh, it's bad. It's real bad. Anyway, here's more. This is Roy's garden here. Oh, I'm half zoomed in. No wonder. There. Sorry about that. Here's some more geranium. This is, I don't know which variety this is, but this is Roy's garden. This has not been gotten to yet, but it's looking really good. And I have a few plants to sort of fill in, but it's looking much better. We did a big layer of compost on this garden. And we've been managing the thistle problem much better this year. So that's been good. And if you look this way, you can just we'll just scan this way. All that pink you see, geranium macrorrhizum there as well. I've not gotten this garden. I looked at this garden from the window the other day and went, oof, we're not even gonna look at that. See, it stabilizes there. I've stuck it in there to stabilize this little creekside here. The purple you see beyond that really should be pulled out. It's Dame's Rocket. Well, here, it's this. It's Dame's Rocket. It's not woodland phlox. It's Dame's Rocket, which is different and not great, but it's still pretty. Here, sometimes you get a white one that pops up. That's all jewelweed in the middle, sitting in the creek bed there. So we return this way, and I think that's where we're going to stop it because, oh, here, we look at this plant. It's such a star. Every week we've been looking at this lately, but again, somebody asked last week where you can get this clematis. This clematis is Purpurea recta compacta. I got it from Brushwood. It's where I get almost all of my clematis from. They send amazing plants, free shipping. They are expensive. It's 100% worth it because they're sending gallon-sized plants. And clematis, it's all about growing roots. Anyway, still standing tall. Has not thought about flopping yet, but I gotta think pretty soon it's gonna flop because those supports only go up as high as this. So, and we got, a half of the plant sticking up above that. Okay, that is it. Thank you for watching this casual garden stroll. Sorry it's a little brief this week. Like I said, the list is long. If I can just stay awake enough today to just work until it's too dark to work and then come inside and do more work inside, that'd be great. And then I can do some laundry later. All right, I hope you guys are having a great day in your garden. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon.